Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about. So I was reading reports yesterday from the mainstream media, and they did say Manchester United this summer could sell up to 5 players to fund a bid for Aston Villa's Jack Grealish. Now, obviously, as you all know, Manchester United have been relentlessly linked with Jack Grealish. Obviously, it has been revealed how much Jack Grealish would cost, and he would cost around £70 million. But reports were coming out recently saying that Manchester United were prepared to pay up to £70 million for Jack Grealish, but we are reluctant to pay any more for Jack Grealish. Now, like I mentioned to you, if Aston Villa were to avoid relegation this season, then probably, it would cost around £70 million. But if Villa were to be relegated, then he probably wouldn't cost as much as £70 million would Jack Grealish. Now, obviously, it's dependent on anyway if the season does resume, because as you all know, the Premier League has been suspended for at least 3 weeks due to the coronavirus. And obviously, like I mentioned, there's been rumours saying, teams won't be relegated or in the relegation zone. Liverpool may not be handed the title. Obviously, there's been rumours saying there could be 22 teams in the league next season, 5 teams relegated in the EFL Cup games, all acts. But that's just controversial plans. That doesn't mean it will happen. But, I think Jack Grealish, like I mentioned, revert back to what I said, would be the right calibre player for Manchester United. Basically, up until this point, he's spent the entirety of his career with Aston Villa as Jack Grealish. He's become an integral part of their team. He has got a contract with Aston Villa until 2023. I don't think he's got a buyout clause, by the way, inserted. But Manchester United, like I mentioned, have been relentlessly linked to him. Reportedly, Jack Grealish demanded that he wants around £150,000 a week. Man United are willing to give Jack Grealish around £150,000 a week. Obviously, Man United are not the only club though that have been in for him. Like I mentioned, City and Real Madrid have also expressed their interest. Also, Tottenham, don't forget, came close to getting Jack Grealish in the summer of 2018. Jack Grealish is the age of he's 24. He is predominantly an attacking midfielder, but can occasionally play as a winner, can Jack Grealish. So he is one player on our agenda, but Man United are in search for a midfielder. And obviously, there's still deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed. I think, we need another centre forward, even though Odin Igalo has hit the ground running, and Solskjaer has recently come out and made an admission saying that he could make Odin Igalo's transfer permanent, because Odin Igalo has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. He's got, 4 goals in 3 starts for the club as Odin Igalo. So, very, very good start to his Manchester United career. And I think, Manchester United do need a right winner. So, there is a lot of players on our agenda, but it is good that we are making plans for the summer. Don't forget, Solskjaer did recently reveal that he thinks we need around 3 signings to become title contenders next season. So, So, basically, that's the latest news on Jack Grealish. So, the players, we're planning to sell, I've told you about this on my recent videos, and I think we're hoping to, generate around £240 million, or somewhere somewhere in the £240 million range, for the players, that we do get rid of. That's how much we're hoping to generate. So if we do get around £240 million for these 5 players that we're planning to get rid of, obviously, we're going to we're going to get more money than what Solskjaer spent, because Solskjaer so far spent around £220 million at Manchester United on 5 players in 3 transfer windows. So the players we are planning to get rid of to fund this bid for Jack Grealish, and obviously, continue with our rebuild this summer. Number 1 is David De Gea. Now, there's been a lot of rumours saying that Manchester United could sell him in the summer, and I have been keeping up to date of what's been going on with David De Gea on a regular basis. Now, I did say to you, didn't I? I think if David De Gea leaves Manchester United, I think he will make a return back to Spain because David De Gea is born in Spain, his relatives are from Spain, his girlfriend's from Spain. So this is one of the main explanations why I think he'll go back to Spain. Now, obviously, it came out not too long ago saying that Real Madrid were planning to put around the £70 million bidding for him. But like I mentioned, Real Madrid did drop their interest, but they've been relentlessly linked with him. Real Madrid have been in for David De Gea for a number of years. Don't forget 5 years ago, which was back in 2015, Real Madrid were close to getting David De Gea. But due to a fax machine on deadline day, the deal never materialised. So, of course, David De Gea remained at Manchester United. Not only Madrid have been in for him, Juventus and also 2 PSG have been in for David De Gea. But obviously, he has received a lot of criticism because let's be honest, David De Gea has been a liability at least in the last year and a half or so, and he has received a lot of criticism as David De Gea for this. But Solskjaer still believes that David De Gea is one of the best goalkeepers in the world because he has made a lot of calamitous mistakes, and this is why he has been criticised. David De Gea is now into his ninth season as a Manchester United player, and he has enjoyed 8 years here. So yeah, he has been a long servant, but like I mentioned, I think he's had a good 6.5 years out of the 8 years he's been here. David De Gea, of course, has nearly been at Manchester United now for a decade. He has been here since the Alex Ferguson era, and we did pay around £17 million for him from Atletico Madrid. But there's still a couple of players here from the Ferguson era, but not many. you know. But I still think we could get around £70 million for him, so we could get a lot more than what we paid for him from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. Obviously, De Gea's won everything here domestically. He's won the club's Player of the Year 4 times out of the past 5 or 6 seasons, reflecting on his good run of performances. And obviously, last September, David De Gea committed his long-term future with the club because obviously, he signed a new long-term contract. He signed a 4-year deal, was it, with an option of a further year? And David De Gea, of course, is on £375,000 a week at Man United, so he is the highest-paid goalkeeper in the world. And another reason why he could leave as well is because there was a lot of reports saying that David De Gea could lose his place in the team, because obviously there's been a lot of reports saying that Dean Henderson is more than likely to return to Man United after his loan spell with Sheffield United, obviously. And, the club made the right decision by putting Dean Henderson out on loan because he has been a revelation for Sheffield United and that. And overall, his stats are nowhere near as good as De Gea's, but I think at this present time, his stats are better than David De Gea's are Dean Henderson. So there has been a lot of talk saying he could become our number one goalkeeper. Obviously, we've got Romero. He's another goalkeeper. He's our second choice goalkeeper. He tends to play in the cup games. Obviously, we've got Lee Grant. He's seldom played since his arrival from Stoke in the summer of 2018, but he's a long-term absentee, is Lee Grant, because he is out with injury. So David De Gea is one player we could get rid of. Now, number 2 is Paul Pogba. Now, it says he's on that list of the 5 players that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could get rid of this summer. But obviously, there's a chance he could stay because, don't forget Solskjaer recently came out and he said Paul Pogba could remain at Manchester United. Well, he said he will remain at Manchester United next season. This is what, he basically had said. Now, obviously, Paul Pogba came out last week and he said, he wants to stay at Manchester United, and he said he was interested in extending his contract at the football club. Well, obviously, Paul Pogba at the moment has got around a year left on his current contract with an option. Well, it's 2 years if you want to include the option of a further year. But yeah, he did reveal that he wants to stay, and I think the main explanation why he wants to stay is because he believes he can, form a partnership with Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, he's aware of the impacts that Bruno Fernandes has made at Manchester United, and I do believe from my own perception that Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes would complement each other fantastically well in our midfield. Like I said, I have a idea how Manchester United would line up with Bruno Fernandes and Pogba in the team. I think, Pogba would probably play as a number 8. He'd play alongside Freddie McTominay. and then, Bruno Fernandes would play ahead of them. He'd be freed up with Bruno Fernandes because Bruno Fernandes is predominantly number 10. But I've got to give Bruno Fernandes a lot of credit because he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. And as everyone knows, Bruno Fernandes is making the difference in the team. He scored 3 goals already, and Bruno Fernandes has provided 4 assists for the football club. 4 assists for the football club. Bruno Fernandes has already gotten that, so he is making a difference in the team. His decision making is good, and he's very instrumental. Very, very instrumental is Bruno Fernandes, and like I said, he's one of the best, or probably is the best player we have recruited in since the Alex Ferguson era. And we have recruited over 30-odd players in since the Ferguson era and spent a hell of a lot of money on players in all the managerial eras since the Ferguson era. But yeah, so, people have revert back to what I said about Pogba, people have got different perceptions on Paul Pogba. Some people would keep Paul Pogba, and some people, would be happy to see Paul Pogba leave. But just because it said in the mainstream media that he's going to stay, that doesn't fully ensure that he's going to stay at Manchester United. If we do get rid of Paul Pogba, we'll generate a lot of money for his departure. I think, we'd get over £100 million for him. Obviously, we did pay £89 million for Paul Pogba. But like I mentioned, he said he wanted to commit his long-term future with the club. Since he rejoined Manchester United from Juventus back in 2016, he has just been subjected to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation. Like I mentioned, this year, he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Last year, he was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Under Jose Mourinho, he was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation because he had a bad relationship with Jose Mourinho. So basically, if he was to extend his contract, that would end his long-running transfer saga. Or if he was to leave Man United in the summer, that would end his long-running transfer saga, because the clubs that have been in for Pogba has been Madrid. They was relentlessly linked to him last summer. Obviously, there's been talks about him making a return back to Turin. He enjoyed 4 good years with Juventus. The vast majority of his performances at Man United have been totally comparison. Obviously, there's been talks about him going to PSG. Obviously, Barcelona have been in for him in the past. So, yeah. And, I don't really know, basically, if I want him to stay, I want him to go. He's still a very imperative player. Let's put that into the equation. Obviously, he's only played 8 games this season, Paul Pogba, because obviously he's been out with injury. He hasn't started a game from the start since September. But, before these games got suspended and that, don't forget, Solskjaer did say this week, well, Paul Pogba would have been back in training. Well, I think he's actually not back in training, because I do believe that Solskjaer has urged us. I think he's urged us, to train as normal, even though with the outbreak of the coronavirus. I think actually, because our players have been trained as normal, our players have been tested for coronavirus. But yeah, Paul Pogba, it's good that he is stepping up his fitness regime. But yeah, so yeah, he's another player Manchester United could sell this summer. Now, the other one is Alexis Sanchez. He's another one. Obviously, I think, it's more than likely we'll get rid of him. Obviously, we got rid of Alexis Sanchez last summer. We put him out on loan to Inter Milan. Obviously, whether Inter Milan, open negotiations up over getting him on a permanent transfer or not, I do not know. Basically, it was a shame that we couldn't get rid of Sanchez on a permanent transfer when we got rid of him, but we struggled to get rid of him on a permanent transfer, reflecting on his substantial wages. Because when Sanchez was at Man United, he was on 400 grand a week. With bonuses and image rights included, it risen up to £500,000 a week. This is what it did. And even though Sanchez is on loan now at Inter Milan, we're still paying the vast majority of his wages. We're still paying him around £300,000 a week. And Inter Milan are paying him like the other £100,000 a week. And I don't think he's done too good at Inter Milan, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But Sanchez has played in Italy in the past before he went to Milan, because he played with Udinese when he was younger. Solskjaer did actually say in January that Sanchez would have been coming back to Man United this summer to prove everybody wrong. But now that is not the case. I just think, he's aging up his Sanchez. Obviously, when we had him, he enjoyed a difficult 18 months with Manchester United. We got him as part of a swap deal of Mkhitaryan going to Arsenal back in January 2018. And Sanchez didn't exceed expectations at Man United as I thought he would have done. He only managed like 45 appearances in all competitions and scored 5 goals. And he was just so poor, but also he sustained a lot of injuries as a Manchester United player. So I think we are going to try and find a permanent buyer for Alexis Sanchez. I think he's still got a contract on Man United until 2022. But I thought when we signed him from Arsenal, he'd have been an exceptional player for us, reflecting on what he did in his 4 years with Arsenal. He also played under Pep Guardiola's guidance when he was younger at Barcelona. So, I thought he would have done really, really well for Man United with Alexis Sanchez. Because obviously, we got Robin van Persie from Arsenal, and he, you can basically say he won us the league back in 2013, reflecting on the amount of goals that he had scored. But yeah, Sanchez is another player. Marcus Rojo, he's another player I think Manchester United are going to get rid of. Don't forget, this year we loaned Marcus Rojo out to Estudiantes. Obviously, he did make a return to Argentina because actually, Marcus Rojo had begun his career in Argentina. Obviously, Estudiantes could negotiate the possibility of getting Rojo on a permanent transfer. Solskjaer did actually say, he wasn't going to get rid of Rojo in January, but just decided to, because like I mentioned, Man United have got a lot of centre-halves in the team. Now, obviously, Rojo served around 5 or 6 years with the football club. I think we paid around £15 million for him from Sporting Lisbon. Obviously, he did actually sustain quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player. I think he's got under, 2 years left on his contract. But, I'm very sceptical that he will be coming back to Manchester United, will Marcus Rojo. So that's another player I think, we're going to move on. He's in that list, is Rojo. I think Jesse Lingard, he's another player Manchester United are going to move on. Jesse Lingard is definitely another player we're going to move on. Obviously, he's lost the confidence of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as Jesse Lingard. So Jesse Lingard now isn't going to get in the team enough. And obviously, following the arrival of Bruno Fernandes, Jesse Lingard hasn't been given hardly any chances. Andres Pereira hasn't really been given any chances, to be quite honest with you. But, like I mentioned, reflecting on Lingard's status at the football club and reflecting on the number of years he's been here, Jesse Lingard should be putting much more better performances out. I think he's got just under 16 months left on his contract, Jesse Lingard. But he's just been too poor. Look at last year, didn't register 1 goal or 1 single assist. Whether you play Jesse Lingard in the number 10 or whether you put him on the right-hand side, we just can't seem to get the best out of Jesse Lingard. So that's another player I think Man United are going to move on. So they're the 5 players that are rumoured to be leaving this summer. There's possibly other ones that could go as well, maybe Andres Pereira. Obviously, I think he has been overplayed this season, Andres Pereira. We've played him regularly, but now obviously McTominay's back. I don't think Pereira, will get as many chances, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, we know that Chon's going to be staying at the football club because don't forget last week, Chon had signed a new 2-year contract with Manchester United. There was an option of a further year. I give you the news regarding Angel Gomez yesterday. I give you the news regarding him. There's been rumours in the last couple of days saying that Chelsea have been interested in Angel Gomez. This is what it basically said. But reportedly, we're prepared to block Chelsea's move for Angel Gomez because reportedly we're willing to offer him a new contract worth in the region of £25,000 a week. Obviously, Angel Gomez's appearances at Manchester United have been limited, so what I mean in that aspect, he hasn't really been given his opportunities as Angel Gomez. I think Angel Gomez has only played for us around 6 times this season. He's only played for us 6 times this season. So obviously, Angel Gomez, from his own perspective, he'll want more game time under his belt. Obviously, up until this point, he's spent the entirety of his career with Man United. He was in our youth academy for a good 12 years. He's been a United player since the age of 8. And he's been in the senior squad since like 2017 or is it 2018 as Angel Gomez. But yeah, I think we'll probably open negotiations up over trying to get Angel Gomez a new contract at the football club. So yeah, it just basically said, Chelsea have been interested in him. Obviously, we've got a lot of young players in the squad, like I mentioned, that are developing and trying to improve. Obviously, you've seen the likes of Mason Greenwood, Chong, and Brandon Williams, they've all made more appearances than Angel Gomez. So Angel Gomez will definitely, want to get more game time. Obviously, a lot of players have left as it stands anyway, following since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. Obviously, this year, Ashley Young left the football club after he endured 8.5 years at Manchester United. He went to Inter Milan for 1.5 million. Inter Milan have recruited three of our players. They got young offers, Sanchez. Obviously, they got Lukaku offers last summer. Maybe you can say, Manchester United made a mistake by getting rid of Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, Lukaku endured 2 years at Manchester United. He did enjoy 2 years with the club, and I thought he was exceptional in his first season with Romelu Lukaku, but he didn't really replicate that in his second season because Lukaku in the end had to go because he initially lost his place in the team. And now he's doing really, really well at Inter Milan. But looking at it from a financial point of view, we generated a lot of money for his departure. We got 70 odd million pounds for Lukaku, so we did actually, recoup more or less, than what we paid for him from Everton, because we paid 75 million pounds in from Everton back in 2017. Well, it was 90 million if you want to include the 15 million in add-ons. So more or less we recoup what we paid for Romelu Lukaku. But he scored 42 goals in 96 games in his 2 years or so with Man United. Obviously, I know people had element of concerns about him. Obviously, his first touch was a concern. Didn't really get enough runs in behind. But I thought, to be fair, some of his hold-up play was very, very good. And obviously people said, he wasn't really, really good against the big teams. But he was a really, really good player for us. So, for me, that's one player Manchester United should have kept. But, it freed up our wage bill getting rid of him. And like I said, if we get rid of Sanchez permanently, that will, free up our wage bill a lot. So, let's just put that into the equation. Obviously, Darmian, he also went to Italy, he went to Parma last summer. So, a lot of our players that left, went to Italy. Obviously, you've got Smalling on loan at Roma. I don't think he'll be coming back to Man United. Obviously, Ander Herrera, he went to PSG last summer on a free transfer. And you can say, Man United made the mistake by getting rid of Ander Herrera because, he was a very, very good player for us. He enjoyed 5 years at Man United. Obviously, Fellaini, he went in January 2019. He went to China after he served around 6 years with Manchester United. So a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival and that. But yeah, we need, like I mentioned, we need to see incomings in the summer and we need to see more players go. So yeah, obviously, there's other players on our agenda and I've been keeping up to date with them, haven't I? Obviously, I've been keeping up to date, of what's been going on regarding Jadon Sancho because Manchester United have been relentlessly linked with Jadon Sancho. Like I updated you on my recent video, the Borussia Dortmund CEO, he reiterated saying that if Jadon Sancho wants to leave, we will discuss a transfer. Now, obviously, a European football expert came out a couple of days ago now, and he said that Jadon Sancho will be in the Premier League next season. And I think he did reveal that his preference is a move to Manchester United. Now, obviously, a lot of people are saying that we need qualification for the Champions League to get Jadon Sancho. But in general, we may need qualification for the Champions League to attract players to the elite level. Now, obviously, we've been relentlessly linked with Jadon Sancho because we was in for him last year, but we didn't get Jadon Sancho last year because we failed to qualify for the Champions League. Don't forget City, Liverpool, Real Madrid, all of them teams have expressed their interest in Jadon Sancho. Now, of course, Jadon Sancho is into his third season at Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, I think in total for Borussia Dortmund, he scored like 31 goals in 90 appearances. Obviously, he's still got around 2 years left on his contract with Dortmund because he has got a contract with them until 2022 as Jadon Sancho. But I think he's done really, really well. Actually, early on this season, though, Jadon Sancho was dropped in a lot of games for Borussia Dortmund. But I think he's done really, really well. Obviously, the beneficial thing is as well that, Jadon Sancho has played in the Premier League because he did serve 2 years with Man City, but never really got any first-team opportunities at Manchester City, and this is the main explanation why he left Manchester City to join Dortmund. Dortmund have quoted out, that they do want minimum £100 million for Jadon Sancho. He could maybe even cost £120 million, but it will have to make him a record signing in the Premier League, and of course we'll have to make him our most expensive signing. And it said reportedly Man United are willing to offer Jadon Sancho around £200,000 a week. But he is a very, very good player. And I think, he complements our attacking line really, really well, because Jadon Sancho is a player that can score goals, he can create chances, his runs on and off the ball are very, very good. Not only that, he'd fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy perfectly, because don't forget Solskjaer still wants to continue the policy of recruiting young players to Manchester United, like he did do last summer. And Jadon Sancho's only the age of 20. But I think he's our number one priority target for the summer. So if we're to get Grealish and Sancho in the summer, it'll cost us around £170 million. It costs us nearly in the £200 million range to get Grealish and Sancho this summer. So yeah, obviously Jude Bellingham, he's another player on Manchester United's agenda. Obviously he's got to decide on a transfer between 4 clubs, because around 4 clubs are in for Jude Bellingham, and that's Man United, Chelsea, Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund. Now, I don't think he has made his mind up yet, what his next club's going to be, but I think it's probably likely that he's going to leave Birmingham City at the end of the season, is Jude Bellingham. Now, reportedly these 4 clubs are determined to meet Birmingham's valuation, because Birmingham have come out and said that they want around £30 million for Jude Bellingham. Like I mentioned last Monday, obviously, Jude Bellingham and his family, came to our Carrington training ground. Obviously, he came for the tour around, had negotiations with Ferguson. So obviously, that had fueled speculation up. But like I mentioned, I just don't think Jude Bellingham is ready for the Premier League as yet. I think, he needs at least another season in the Championship. Bellingham's only 16 years of age, so he's still inexperienced. Obviously, hasn't signed his professional contract yet as Bellingham. I think he's set to sign his professional contract this summer. But he's become the youngest player to score for Birmingham and the youngest player to represent Birmingham, because he made his debut at the age of 16 years and 38 days. So Jude Bellingham is another player on our agenda in that. But Solskjaer's come out to Ed Woodward and said, he needs to take drastic action in this summer transfer window. And I think Solskjaer actually did say that he wants to get all of it or some of our transfer business done as soon as possible, rather than wait until the summer. But like I mentioned, Manchester United have been in a really, really good run of form. We are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions. In this 11-game unbeaten run, we've won 8, we've drawn 3, we've scored 29 goals, we've only conceded 2, and we've kept 9 clean sheets. And this is our best vein of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. But reflecting on this good run of this run we've been on, it would have changed quite a lot of Manchester United fans' perceptions on Solskjaer. Obviously, you've still got some United fans that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out. But, maybe he does deserve a bit more time. And obviously, Solskjaer is aware, if he is to be given another season at Manchester United, that he's got many expectations to exceed. He'll have bigger expectations to exceed than he has done this season. But I think he'll be still Man United manager next season, even if the season doesn't resume. Even if Man United don't get qualification for the Champions League, I still think he will be Manchester United manager going on into next season. And obviously, don't forget as well, we've got a few ambitions, and one of those ambitions is the FA Cup, because the FA Cup is a chance of us getting some silverware on the board. Also, too, the Europa League is a priority for us, because that's another chance of getting silverware on the board. Plus, it's another route to Champions League qualification, and Manchester United are emerged as one of the favourites, to win the Europa League. And we've just got to hope that the Europa League games can be rescheduled and the FA Cup games can be rescheduled, so obviously Manchester United can possibly win them this season, and hopefully we can get in that top 4, because we're only 3 points behind top 4 now. We're only 3 points behind Chelsea. We've enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season ever, but on the other hand, we can still finish in that top 4. But a lot of teams have been very inconsistent in the Premier League this season and that. But like I mentioned, revert back to what I said, Solskjaer's been here over the year. He's been permanent boss now for the year, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, by the way. and he's been Manchester United manager for 15 months and that. A lot of people say we did give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job too early, but the main explanation why we give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job on a regular basis is reflecting on, what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. But whether Solskjaer's managerial tenure at Man United works out or not, we'll never forget what he's done for the club because he was a great player for us for 11 years. Obviously, like I said, I credit Solskjaer when he deserved to be credited, and I criticise Solskjaer, when he deserved to be criticised. A lot of United fans this season, have obviously, criticised Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. But look at it on the other hand, the longer Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is in the job, he's gaining more managerial experience because a lot of people talk about Solskjaer being inexperienced as a manager. But like I mentioned, a lot of players have improved under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance. And another good thing is that our record against the top 6 sides, has been really, really good this season. So you can also say that is a positive without a shadow of a doubt and that. And obviously more players are coming back from injury, which is very, very good to see. Like I mentioned, Rashford is due back, I think, within the next 3 weeks or something like that. Because obviously Rashford has been out with a back injury, and you can say Marcus Rashford has been a big miss for Manchester United. You can say he has, been a big miss in that. Obviously, Pogba's close to returning. McTominay's just come back. Bay's just come back. By the way, Bay has come out and said, Solskjaer is much better with our players than Jose Mourinho was, because basically Bay has revealed the advantage that Solskjaer has over Jose Mourinho. And, he says with Solskjaer's experience as a former top-flight player, he's made a massive difference to life at Manchester United and that. So you've got a lot of our players that are determined to back Solskjaer. And I've been very, very impressed with Bass. I've got to give him a lot of credit. But a lot of players are doing well under Solskjaer, which I'm very, very delighted about. Luke Shaw's done well since he's come back. But, yeah. So that's everything to update you today, guys. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. And take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.